as for the philosophical question, yeah, I guess you're right. It is a philosophical question. You know, we have built a city by the coast. We have built a city by the sea. Do we want to have families and people who work here and people who visit here have a good opportunity to come out of the city and enjoy nature such as it is there, even if it's not perfectly pristine, or not? We obviously feel very strongly that we want that it's okay for people to create recreational parks and opportunities in good coastline locations, and to do it with the utmost respect to the environment and with the utmost respect to good design and smart practices, so that you don't have to keep spending money on it for 100 years. Absolutely, do a good job, but the baseline of the philosophy is that, yeah, it's there for people. The 20-year horizon for looking at a plan for this has nothing to do with science. It has everything to do with government and community. It has to do with people getting together and planning how are we going to address issues without having to have knee-jerk reactions in the middle of the night because there's a storm and, you know, whoever's in charge that day makes a decision. It's completely a social civilization technique to say, okay, what's the longest possible time that we could, we all know it's going to be a bit of a guess, but if you take 20 years, it means you're serious, and it gives government leaders a path to say, nope, this is what the people said, and you know, you can change it, but you'd have to sort of make a big deal out of changing it. So having a 20-year vision means that we decide now we want to either preserve the park or we want to totally configure the park, and we want to, whichever way we choose, if it's preserve the park, we want to do this through X, Y, or Z methods. And then you sort of know which permits to get, how much money you need. But we rely on scientists and experts to give us the much bigger, you know, historical perspective and future perspective on the big issues like global warming, or if something else which happens to change in the ecology there that we need to know about. Absolutely, you know, we need to hear about it.
By constructing structures on the beach, such as the county proposes, like an artificial permeable groin or a rock seawall, those structures have adverse impacts on the natural resources.
My role more recently in the Goleta Beach project is to work with a team of professional consultants in developing an environmental impact report that looks at alternatives to their tropical storms that come with really high tides and southwesterly wind swells. That
we should have learned that, especially during the Mississippi floods, that you don't build in the floodplains or the tidal zone. Well, okay, now fast forward back up until about, I think it was 98, maybe a little later than that. The beach there was starting to kind of be eaten away by the normal erosion of high tides and big surf, and the then park commissioner
out of Goleta Beach as best as possible, but you know, again, we want that sandy beach experience. I mean, why do people come to Goleta Beach anyways? They come to Goleta Beach to see the beach. I mean, what would be the point of having Goleta Beach County Park if there was no, you know, they hired some consultants and some experts said, okay, well, what's the best solution here? Well, let's put in a permeable groin. There is no science backing that up, that would